Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to Astrological Association Astro Chart. Every week we'll be here to share recent transit with you. Today we have the Chiron just turned to retrograde. It was stationary for a couple of days and it was still hanging like this, but it started to move retrograde. And then tomorrow, another thing more interesting is the Venus moving to Cancer. So today I invite my good friend and also the new force of the Astrological Association social media team, Mandi Lockley, to join me. Okay, I think Mandi is ready. And it invites us to consider a little bit more about our health, our spiritual, our want, and maybe try to. Hey, hello, Mandi. How are you?
Hi, Rod. Hello, everybody watching this. Hi, hello.
You look so bright. So I was just talking about this couple days from today and tomorrow. We have two important changes. One is the Chiron just turned backward retrograde. It was stationary for a while. It's still going to be stationary, but it stopped its retrograde movement today. And then tomorrow we have a Venus moving to Cancer. So we are going to focus on these two today. So maybe we should start with Hello, Rachel. Great. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me share one thing to start with. It's quite. You probably already noticed, and some of our friends who follow me on the Instagram notice I post a photo of a Chiron, a few, AI generated Chiron photo. And to be honest, when I did it, I totally forget it was Chiron stationary. I was just like, you know what? It's weekend. I really want to do something creative rather than my routine work. So I say I want to, maybe do some, graphic design thingy, which I am not really good in it, but I enjoy doing it. It's considered as a creative work. So I was like suddenly look into AI generated website and start doing the Chirons generate. Like, give me a photo of Chiron, but that sounds like a challenge for certain AI company. So they keep like either give me a horse or man and the horse, man, ride the horse, but never like a upper body man, lower body horse. And but I was quite interested until that evening. I said, "Oh yes, of course, it's a Chiron stationary. Of course, no wonder I focus on it, and even more. Let me share with you. It it should be on my MC.
Wow,
I think it was 1 degree,
amazing.
within one degree. So that was so interesting.
That's amazing. So many things happen when you know astrology and you do things or you hear things or something happens and you look at the astrology afterwards and you're like,
Indeed.
aha,
Aha, that aha
aha.
moment. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Chiron is in Aries at the moment. So you wanted to create something new as well.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to
Yeah.
create something
Yeah.
new, something a little bit different, take the initiative a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's retrograde from, I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? At
Yes. Yes.
27 degrees of Aries.
Yeah.
And it's going to be going forwards again in January, actually 3rd of January next year at
Yes.
22 degrees of Aries. So anyone like Rod who's got things in their chart round about 21 to 28 degrees of Aries, or the other cardinal signs, obviously Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn,
Mm.
will be feeling this more intensely. Will be feeling this 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 Chiron retrograde a little bit more intensely, particularly if you have something at exactly on 27 or exactly on 22 of Aries or the other cardinal signs. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you manifested something, Rod.
That was quite
And
interesting.
put
That
it
was
out
quite
there.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So how do we usually feel when this Chiron retrograde?
Well, it just becomes more intense. As I say, if we do have something, whether it's a planet or an angle at the degrees I've just spoken about, and particularly in the cardinal signs, because then you'll get the
Hmm.
opposition or you'll get the square aspect. You're going to feel the themes of Chiron Aries more strongly in your life. As things will come up that will be Chiron-esque, Chiron in Aries-esque in your chart, and you'll be
Hmm.
having a transit. You'll probably be having the second hit of a
Ah,
3
yes.
hit transit as well. So you've had the first kind of, oh, this has happened. So you could
Yeah.
think to when you know, think back to the first hit, and then what the second hit will be, and then there'll be a third hit. So it
Yeah.
reminds us. It's a reminder. I think when a outer planet goes retrograde, it's a reminder that transits are processes. I mean,
Mm.
you just given a really fantastic event that happened, a thing that you did, you know, just really in sync with it all. But generally speaking, they're processes, and Chiron's process is quite a slow one.
Mm,
And
yes.
because it's in Aries, Chiron is in Aries. I think some of the themes might be healing wounds around selfishness and or selflessness. So where
Mm-hmm.
have you been putting yourself first
Mm-hmm.
to the detriment, or where have you been putting yourself last, and you need to put yourself first? Because the if we call it the healing journey, I think it was Melanie Reinhardt was one of the astrologers who
Yes.
came up with the healing journey. That I think that's the name of her book for
Yeah.
Chiron. If it's a healing journey, with any kind of healing, you need to put yourself first, to look after yourself first,
Mm.
to make yourself better first, to do your stuff first, before you can move to the next stage of the chironic process, which is then to use what you've healed in yourself to help other people.
Mm.
When you think about, for example, one of the things that Chiron and Aries might want to do is to be in service to others that are less fortunate, who need help. So we kind of
Uh-huh.
think about aid workers, for example, who go
Yes.
into war zones, very
Yeah.
airy, you know, going to war zones, put themselves in dangerous conflicts in order to help people who are suffering. That is one of the ways in which, you know, one of the many, many, many ways, just one example of the work of Chiron in Aries. But you're going to
Yes.
be no good at helping people if you yourself are putting yourself in so much danger, if you're starving yourself, or if you're not yourself in danger, or you're getting yourself injured, or you're not looking after your mental health as well. So there's a few, you know, that's obviously an extreme example. But, you know, if you're having this transit, you might be able to think of areas in your life where you want to help, you feel compelled to help, but you need to look after yourself first, like fill your own cup, you
I
know?
totally agree with you, especially and sometimes it's like people understand the Chiron and then understand about the healing, but totally forget about the wound. And then
Mm-hmm.
so about the healing, either they heal themselves or healing other people. But yes, you have to, when you think about whole healing process, look at the wounds on you first before you go to help other people. And I 100% agree with you without understanding ourselves when we rush into the the conflict area trying to help other people is no good because we are not in a good state and we run to there, it's not going to make anything better. So I really like that because we have to look after ourselves first and during this Chiron retrograde in Aries, and that was so interesting, especially if you don't mind, this is the degree where alignment with the Andromeda galaxy, the beautiful
Wow.
spiral, it is at 28-degree Aries alignment. So it's very close. So it added a little bit about the vision and the future and the kindness into this thing, but it's like a background, fixed up background. But I think I really enjoy what you say about the look up and the like a focus on the selfness and then put the self first. But another thing about the Aries could be the action, right?
Absolutely. Decisive action and having the confidence and having the courage, because not only is Chiron about our wounds, it's also places in ourselves that we fear to go because it is wounded, because it hurts. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's in Aries, it's encouraging us to find the confidence and the courage. And if you think about courage, courage can be a wonderful energy, but where does courage come from? You can't have courage without fear. So you have to sort of almost recognize that
Ah,
fear in yourself, and then you have to find the courage to go and do that work. And another thing, when you're talking about the Andromeda galaxy, I
yeah.
don't know much about that, but I'm getting the sense that there is around that, some kind of you can correct me if I'm not wrong, Rod, but I'm just getting the intuition that there's some kind of pioneering energy in there
It
that
is.
really, really vibes well with Chiron in Aries, and there's that energy that's coming in to help us with our healing process. So there's a support there, galactic support, I suppose. Galactic astrology is
Yes.
very popular now, and it's getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger and bigger. I must get more into it because it fascinates me. But there's some galactic support there, energetically speaking, to find that courage, to get that support, and to do something pioneering, and also a maverick as well. That's another theme for Chiron, particularly with in a sign like Aries. To be the
Mm-hmm.
pioneer, you have to put yourself out there and be a little bit of
Yeah.
a maverick, and people might disagree with you and think you're going too far. But
Yeah.
again, that's another bit of the energy that some people might feel called to work with. So fascinating stuff.
Definitely, yes. The Andromeda galaxy does have the meaning of the pioneer. Yeah, that is true, and innovation. But also, I quite like what you're talking about. This cosmic background things and the cosmic support. It does. It is an immense power from this background, and then how we channeling it and how we apply it. That's it. If people does believe these kind of the kind of not only just a fixed star, it's a huge galaxy. It's an immense power there behind this degree, this retrograde degree. So we can either apply the channeling it, but it's in the end of the day, it's how we interpret it in our life, and that is so interesting. Let's go to the next one. Is the beautiful Venus going to move from the Gemini to the
Yeah.
Cancer now? Very sweet.
Yeah. You know, Venus in Cancer always reminds me of the famous painting, The Birth of Venus by Botticelli, when the gorgeous Venus,
Oh,
she's born beautiful. She comes out of the sea and she's in a shell. And she comes out of
yeah.
her shell, and when she comes out of her shell, its true beauty is born, which Venus in Cancer can, when someone has Venus in Cancer natally, or the energies are really vibing with them by transit. Because remember, it's a short
Yeah.
transit, isn't it? It's
Yes.
what's the date? 31st of July tomorrow. We're recording this on the 30th, and I think it's in Cancer until the 25th of August, if I've got that correct. So it's
Yes.
quite short.
Yes.
Obviously, so it's a short transit, and there's not a
Yeah, very
retrograde.
short. Yes.
Yeah, but during that time, there is that kind of sense of sort of, how far do you come out of your shell and shine in your natural beauty? And I think
Yeah.
that's just a really beautiful, beautiful image for Venus in Cancer. Venus is about beauty, isn't it? But with Cancer, Venus in Cancer as well, the energy becomes homely and maternal and nurturing. So this might be a time for us to think about, well, how are we giving nurturance, or do we need nurturance? Do we need help and support? Are we giving help and support? And this kind of goes a little bit back to what we were talking about with Chiron
I
in
agree.
Aries, doesn't
Yes.
it? Just kind of,
Yes, it is.
are you giving too much, or can you give more, or what direction are you kind of going, looking after yourself? Because it's emotionally very sensitive, Venus in Cancer, isn't it? There's a
Mm,
vulnerability. So we might
yeah.
become aware of our defense patterns and our protective patterns when Venus is in Cancer as well. And another thing is about a sense of belonging. Cancer needs to belong, whether that's family or home. So where do you belong, and who do you belong with? And family, but also socially as well. We must remember
Hmm.
that Venus is a social planet as well as the planet of love
Hmm.
and romance and relationships. And it's about self-esteem as well. How do we find our self-esteem within ourselves, and how much is that
Hmm.
does that come from the people around us? So
Hmm.
again, sort of things about finding the balance between that as well. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I really agree with you because the one thing you mentioned about the cancer with that kind of caring and nurturing and then look after each other. Another sense of meaning, I think I think it, usually we will have a Marcus with us talking about traditional astrology. Today he's not here, but I remember for some astrologer, they see the Cancer as one of the Venus triplicity sign. So the
Mm.
triplicity, some astrologer interpret it as a tribe, as a
Mhm.
group of your tribe. So it's
Mhm.
like a group of people helping each other. So it may have a dignity about this tribe, about this triplicity, receive the help from from each other. that some school does say Venus should be the part of the water triplicity, but I'm not expert here. But I'm just like stealing from them to apply this, just because it really fits into we talking about this family and the tribe and look after each other when Venus moved to there. But another thing is that Venus, I like recently, I really enjoy one particular theme of Venus is a race. You know, it's really we need to race to have
Oh
enough
yeah.
energy.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Also, because we can also be very much when we're giving in Venus in Cancer, it's emotional giving, and that can be
Yeah.
tiring unless you rest up, unless you find that balance and find the
Yeah.
time for yourself, and also pay attention to your moods during Venus in Cancer, because
Uh-huh.
Cancer can be quite a moody sign, and
Yeah.
the moods of others as well. And if your chart does say that you are emotionally sensitive, you have a big watery chart, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if it does say that you are very sensitive, be more aware about how other people's moods are affecting you as well. And you might not even be aware how your moods are affecting other people. So
Yeah.
you've got that kind of sense of, oh, am I feeling drained in this environment
Yeah.
with these people? And if you are, you can then, that's like you said, Rod, that's your suggestion, that's your cue to go and take some rest to sort of clear your energy. So that's another thing
Yeah.
that we might be looking out for. We could be a little bit touchy during this time, but like you
Mm.
said, that group energy, that I love that, the triplicity
Yeah.
being part of
Yeah.
the tribe, that's really interesting. I think one more thing as well
Yeah. Please.
is it's also associated because it's the moon, which is about home.
Yeah.
Venus there could be look out for some news about real estate and property and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, beautiful homes, beautiful
Yeah.
homes. Interestingly, when you talk about property and real estate, President Trump has amongst other things, he has a few things in Cancer, but one of them is
Yeah.
Venus in
Yes.
Cancer. And
Yeah.
everything is like his version of beauty and glamour. A lot of it is gold, of course. Gold with his
Yeah.
rising makes a lot of sense. So it
Yeah.
might be something that's about sort of about real estate and property and prices of
Mm-hmm.
property, because Venus can also be about sort of finances as well and money as well. So, and
Yeah.
then we've got on the 1st of August, it hasn't got much time to settle in before it squares Venus in Cancer squares that
Yeah.
Saturn Neptune
Yes. Yes.
conjunction,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah, so that's
Yes.
going to be interesting.
Tell
Very
us a little bit
fast.
more about this. Please tell us a little bit more about
Yeah,
this.
it's very fast. It's only going to be for a couple of days,
Yeah.
but it's really it's where, because Venus is a tendency to be quite can have a tendency to be quite idealistic, particularly in the water
Yeah.
signs. And then
Yeah.
you've got idealistic Neptune, but then you've got reality hits with Saturn. So there's going to be questions or themes or energies around reality versus the ideal in
Mm.
relationships, but also with your creative ambitions as well, because both Venus
Mm.
and Neptune are very creative signs. But Saturn is all about manifesting, it's about structure, it's about if you have a dream or an ideal or an inspiration or a creative ambition, it's about actually how does that work in the real world, and the work that you have to put in that inspiration versus perspiration thing, and taking responsibility again for how you show up in
De-
relationships, seeing
definitely.
things yeah, yeah, seeing things for how they are and seeing people for who they are rather than having unrealistic expectations of what you might expect from other people in any kind of relationships, but mostly in maybe romantic relationships, for
Hmm.
example. So
Yeah.
yeah, compassion again, compassion and action is, I
Yes.
think, another way of looking at it, because we're in the realm of Aries again now,
Yeah.
the Neptune. So compassionate action in order to give yourself that comfort that you might need or you might feel like you're yearning for with this Venus in Cancer. Yeah, yeah.
100% agree. Wow, thank you so much to give us this much information, because this could be the pretty interesting time. I don't want to call it intense. For some people, maybe if you like
Mm.
me have that planet around there or angle around there, you can maybe really feel it
Mm.
or channeling it.
Yeah,
But you maybe can apply it for something good.
Yeah,
you know.
and you have one more thing as well, which is a
Oh
nice
yeah,
one. It's
please.
Venus is going to be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer on the
Oh
12th of
yeah.
August. So that's focus again on the social life, because as I said, Venus is a social planet as much as a
Yes,
romantic
definitely.
relationship
Yeah.
planet. Generosity, extravagance, what you're spending maybe with Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer, comfort food, comfort spending, but definitely it's going to be an injection of optimism, I think, that we that we
Oh,
all
so
we
sweet.
all might be ready for.
Yes, thank you, Mandy. Well, this is kind of interesting and the good news too. Toward the end, Venus is going to, going to have an aspect with Jupiter. But first, I have to face the Saturn. A little bit tiny challenge. It's not totally intense, but it is there, and we have to face the reality. And then we have this Chiron retrograde, go to review those wound and healing process, and think again what we should do and what we really want to do would be really, really helpful. Thank you for joining us today, Monday, and congratulations. Thank you for joining the Astrological Association social media team because we
Yay!
really need your,
Um,
insight and your more wisdoms to to share with everyone. Thank you so much.
I feel like I belong with this team. Thank you. Venus in Cancer is
Thank you.
already kicking in for me.
Yeah.
It'll be opposite my son, so that'll be lovely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, next week, I want to do a little bit announce for Lian. Lian is also join our social media team,
Yay!
and then so next week, Lian going to interview Tanya Daniel on the Thursday, 7th of
Fabulous.
August, 4 p.m. UK time. So stay in
Fabulous.
tuned. Focus on the Astrological Association Instagram channel, and every week we'll bring something new and something related to transit or
Mhm.
astrology. Okay, thanks everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Mhm.